So I was looking at a pair of whites. These are the semi-dress. And if you look at them on the website, it doesn't matter the size or the color. They basically have you on a wait list, like a, similar to Nix and the other Pacific Northwest brands, where you need to wait for them to produce them because they're kind of made to order. It's a little different though with whites because some of their boots are available. I was able to pick up the 350 Cruiser. They had it just in stock in my size in a D width. It seemed like the double E width. You did have to wait. But the semi-dress wasn't an option. Didn't matter the color or the size. I don't know if it's like that all year round or it was just at the time I had been looking, and I looked a few times, basically, and I would say Q3, Q4 of 2022. So I can't speak for other years and what it may have been like in the past, but recently. And anyway, I was kind of thinking about putting in an order, unsure of the size, and led me looking at Nix, and eventually, if you saw my other videos, I bought originally Prospectors, which is the 11067 last, and then later the H&W last with the Overlander. Basically determined what my size was on the high arch last, and ended up picking up the 350 Cruiser, and figured out what my size was. Thought about these boots again, but didn't want to deal with the order, and kind of moved on. And then bought a few boots recently. You saw my videos, but these came along and they were literally my size and the boot I wanted. And obviously there was different colors, but I like browns, dark browns, and tans. These were in a nice brown, and they were unworn. And if you look at the current MSRP on the semi-dress on whites.com, there you can actually see they are built November 21, and they're 11D. The current retail price of the whites on their site is semi-dress is $679, so almost $700. And I just can't stomach that, especially with some of the quality control issues I saw with my first pair with my Cruisers, 350 Cruiser. And I don't want to deal with the weight. And these basically address both those issues. They were my size, at least, in the D width, which I know works because of the 350 Cruiser. It's a little bit snugger, but you wear a thinner sock and it's fine. Length's perfect. General volume's fine. And there's no weight because they're available now on eBay. And the guy was asking $500, which is $180 less than retail. So to me, that was just a win. Unworn, almost $200 discount, and the guy didn't charge for shipping either. So like literally that was the price, which would be the same as whites. That they didn't charge me for shipping either, and I get them now instead of waiting 6 months. I almost wonder if this isn't the right box for these, because this says some weird style Relast WB. I don't know if that's some custom job. And I put a piece of tape over there, the note, because it has the original owner's name. But it says brown dress. And I'm making this video because I'm almost certain this is not brown dress leather. This looks like a brown Chromexcel, whatever you want to call it. You can really see if you look at that. I've worn them a couple days now, and you can really see where the crease kind of is, where the oils move away. This is like so typical Chromexcel, and I'm just thinking he had the wrong box, but I'm not certain of it. I'm curious what you guys think. The sole's interesting. The sole looks like a Vibram V-lug or V-bar, but it's softer and it doesn't have the Vibram branding. So it's almost like whites had a clone of it. But it's nice. They're super comfortable, and honestly they feel like they're roomier than my 350 Cruisers. At some point in this video I'll throw up some pictures I took with my phone real quick of just kind of comparing them. But the brown, this is a much more of a like a typical brown, whereas the British tan of those 350 cruisers is honestly much more like a red rust color, to be honest. It's nice too, but it's different. These are a little bit shorter, so you'll see in those comparison pictures I'll throw in the video. I think this is more like a 5-inch boot. Maybe I should get a ruler out, but a little bit shorter of a boot. And then obviously being the semi-dress, let me get a better picture of this. There's no backstay on the sides. There's just the heels or whatever. Sorry, there's only a backstay. There's just the backstay. There's no heel stay. So it's like makes it kind of a slimmer profile, I guess. That's really, to me, honestly, the biggest difference when you look at the semi-dress versus like a 350 cruiser. Is it's like less bulky in the heel because it's missing the heel stay. It just has the backstay. And then you obviously don't have that wraparound. You just have a stitch. Heel's about the same. I would say these, again, I'll show you these comparison pictures. It's a slightly lower heel, but we're talking like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. It's pretty much the same. And then the stitching's different. Obviously, you only see a single row. I showed you the bottom of that one. I'll show you the bottom of this one. They kind of blew it on both of them. Whoever did the stitching. This is pretty consistent. And then it's totally close together, and then it spaces. I think that may be an issue during a resole, but hopefully that rubber lasts a long time. These do have that whole, what does whites call it? Hand sewn, whatever thing, where they sew on another piece of leather on top, because it's still sort of a stitch down. But they sew the other piece of leather on it and then kind of gets tightened in there or whatever, and you see this, I don't know, it's almost like turns into almost like a storm welt concept. And then you can see like where they have to stitch in that piece. It's a really nice boot, super comfortable right out of the box. And you know, there was no wear at all on the heels or on the sole anywhere, on the, half sole on the front, the fake V-bar, or the heels. It's those quad bug or whatever heels. No wear. You could tell the guy may have tried them on because there was some slight indentations of the laces. Speaking of which, it only comes with these cotton ones. There's no leather, but I think that actually is fine because this is like more of a dressy, semi-dress, whatever pair of boots. I think, I don't know, I guess the leather would look fine too, but it doesn't even come with a false tongue. There's no kiltie in the box. Again, though, I didn't buy them from White's. I don't know if the guy misplaced it, but all the photos I've seen, people don't usually have these with kilties. They're shorter too. But these are definitely more comfortable than, it might be partially because of the half sole. I kind of feel like because of that, it's a thinner overall sole, but I didn't measure it with calipers. I probably should. But I would say these are definitely more comfortable out of the box than the 350 cruisers. 350 cruisers are still comfortable, and after wearing them a few weeks, they're breaking in and they're comfortable, but these are just like, I put them on, I was like, whoa, perfect already. And you feel the arch support, but it wasn't, I don't know, the worst one I feel like I had, and maybe because it was my first boot, was those Prospectors with the 11067 and the lowered heel, the moderate heel, Nick calls it. Those kind of beat up my arches for at least a week. I think it was like 2 weeks. I couldn't wear them every day. I had to take breaks. Whereas the 350 Cruiser wasn't as bad, and these are even better. You can feel it, but like it doesn't hurt. It just, you can feel like an arch there. So really happy with these. Again, if you guys know anything about this, if that it's like a different model, I don't know what HC 700 is and what WB, I don't know what those relast supposed to mean, but I'm almost certain this is not brown dress leather. So my thought is the guy just had that, put these in the wrong box or something. He says he has a bunch of White's boots, and he just had he bought these a year ago or whatever, never wore them. And you could tell they definitely were not worn. He probably tried them on carpet or something and then just put them in the box. But they're pretty beautiful boots. They had the typical, I don't know if it was him or White's, but the toes of both of them kind of have a little bit of these little very light dents from them being in the box and banging around. I think it's just from the heavy boot situation. Nick's does a better job, I guess, with better thicker paper in between the boots, but it's nothing that I'm worried about. And once I buffed them up with a horsehair brush, you'd never know. I mean, you gotta look closely, you can kind of see it, but they're gonna get little dings anyway, just from wearing them. And with it seemingly being a Chromexcel style leather, you know, you just kind of buff them and you can't really tell. And then the heel on one of them had some marks. I think it was this one. You can't even really see it. But I just did a little bit of Venetian shoe cream and horsehair brush, and it's all good. And then which was the one of these is a really poor, I think it's this pair. Let's see if you guys can see this. They really like overdid the, like a dye or something, and the typical whites. You can see this dark mark right here. There's also a little dent, but that's nothing. And it's on this side too. So whoever was like, I don't know, finishing the heels, finishing the boots. Come on, camera, can you focus on that? I don't know if you guys can see the light. This light kind of sucks in here. Set up a light, but it's still kind of crap. So anyway, these are the semi-dress from White's. Got them for a deal. Love them. Definitely would recommend. I feel like their regular retail price kind of stinks, but if you can get them discounted like I did, or on sale, I guess. I don't remember if they were on sale during the White sale. I know the 350 Cruisers were, because I got those on sale. And I think I heard the 355 Logger had been on sale too, but I didn't even know about that boot. But I don't know if the semi-dress was on sale. But, you know, you get them during a deal. They're definitely going to be worth it. I'm going to try them on. Well, sorry, I've already worn them 2-ish days. A little more than 2 days, I think. I'll put them back on though and kind of show you guys what they look like on the feet. So yeah, figured. I'm wearing kind of a, like a, I don't know, it's a boot sock, but it's not a thick boot sock. You can see they go on easy. They're just like, I don't know, they're like a softer boot maybe. And they only have, you notice, 2 sets of hooks. 4 eyes like usual, but only 2 hooks. I think the 350 Cruiser, I have to think about that for a second. I think it has 3 sets of hooks. I think it's 4 eyes, 3 hooks, and then there's the last top set of eyes that I don't personally use, but I know some people do. I mean, look at that. I just slipped my foot in, and that's kind of the benefit of this, like 5-inch-ish, I'm gonna say, height. They just go on easier. And honestly, I think they're more roomy. I don't know what it is. As far as I know, these are still a 55 last. I was wondering about it because I was saying that the box has this other thing on here, but this, I don't think that's the right box, because these cannot be dress brown dress, as they call that leather. I'll throw up a photo that, it's weird because when you go to the White site for these shoes, these boots, when you go to the semi-dress boot, it's like, it has this really cool photo that initially is there, and it's a really dark brown, but with the exposed, like, light part. What do they call that? T-core or whatever. I think that's the name, don't quote me, but I think that's what brown dress is. It's like a special leather of Whites. I think it's made by Seidel with them. Sort of like Red Dog. Red Dog's their own leather. But then when you click brown dress for those circle color options, it then just says product image not available or coming soon or something. So I can't be certain of it, but when I Googled it, and you gotta be careful when you search, like you have to search like Whites, boots, brown dress, otherwise you just get brown dresses, and white girls wearing brown dresses, all sorts of random image results come up. But the few articles I could find, one of them was on the Stitch Down site. It shows the darker leather, so I don't think that's what this is. But anyway, that is the semi-dress. I'll stand up, kind of put some weight on them. They're a nice boot. I've been like seriously new boot goofing lately. This is geez, let's see, I bought 2 pairs of Nicks and 2 pairs of whites, yeah, so that's 4 pairs of boots in a little over a month. Dangerous, but they're like a lifetime purchase and they're awesome. The only one that I kind of was a little bit uneasy about was those Overlanders. I'll never buy the H&W last from Nicks again. It's too similar to other boots and the fit kind of sucks. You basically, in my opinion, you shouldn't size down a half because there's just very little toe volume, but then the heel is kind of loose, so that last just isn't for me. And it doesn't have that magic, it doesn't have the heel. And I don't even like the Woodsman logger heel as much like this. I prefer the dogger heel, but this still has a little bit of that magic that a standard boot doesn't have with a block heel. I think that's another reason why I'm less into that Overlander, because it's a block heel. But you can't do a good dogger or Woodsman heel on the H&W. I've seen it in some custom makes and it looks stupid. So yeah, definitely an 11067 55 guy. And then I know Whites has some other lasts that are similar higher arch. What I do dig with all of these, if you notice, the heel's short. So White's heels, at least on these 2 pairs I own, is closer to what I think Nicks would call the moderate heel stack, which is what I have on my Prospectors, where it's shorter. I find the standard, or sorry, they call it classic, heel is too high. It just looks silly. My brother calls it Victorian, and my son says they look like women's boots. The heel on a classic Nicks is just a little bit too much. I mean, aesthetically it looks kind of cool sitting there, but it's not for me. If I was a logger, then I wouldn't give a shit and just go with it. Or a cowboy, you know, you can kind of get away with that packer or cowboy heel, but I'm neither. So to me, the lowered heel makes more sense. It still has the magic without being like jumping out. Like these, I feel like go under the radar, nobody notices, it just looks cool. Oh, let me do a little heel shot here. Sole shot, I should say. Whatever this is, this like fake V-bar is pretty dope. It's very soft, it's like gummy, it's really comfortable. And then I'm convinced this shorter, or whatever, thinner sole makes these more comfortable. It's like a little bit thinner. Anyway guys, talk to you guys in the next one. Later.